Hi guys, welcome to PullTube's channel. What we have for you today is potato and carrot farm. The reason why we're talking about a potato and carrot farm on Bedrock Edition 1.14.2 currently is because we can still make a super fun farm, fully automatic, the best farm for a realm or a server or a larger, for those people who like to go large, or for those people who like to go small and want to do things the easiest way possible, the simplest way possible, using a few mechanics. A few mechanics that we learned from Cortez Areno. Thank you, Cortez Areno, a Java guy. If you haven't checked him out, check his channel out. He's got some amazing builds he's done for the past years and years and years. Tons and tons of builds that are always different from one another and always unique and always super good and super efficient. Some of the best things I've ever seen back when I was playing on 360. Moving right along, if you need you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot and lets me know that you are interested in these videos, and so I continue to make them. So potatoes and carrots are really helpful because they're going to get us an emerald. They become an emerald factory and give us tons and tons of emeralds, tons of XP for trading with and unlocking trades with villagers, buying all types of wonderful food items, cake and cookies and bread, and unlocking, building beacons with the emerald blocks, and it just goes on and on and on. The also we get tons of XP for mending by trading with villagers. So let's take a look at the farm. Again, 1,500 potatoes per hour, 1,300 carrots per hour, and this is just a view of what it looks like. And we'll talk about what you guys need so that you can start building this on your first survival days of Minecraft, so that you can have the best farm for your server or your realm or your private multiplayer world. The first thing that is important with so many builds in Bedrock Edition is chunk alignment. So what we have here is, the way the farm works is we've got a farmer villager. Every farmer villager is at level 2. And once we're at level 2, then we can get rid of the bed, we can get rid of the composter, but not in that order. Get rid of the composter first, the workstation first, and then get rid of the bed. All I did was do 5 or 6 trades to make him level 2, and then he will not change his profession anymore. The farm is using minecarts and hoppers on rails, so we're going to have some minecart and hopper sounds. When we're 5 chunks away from the farm, it's going to be very we will just start to begin to hear these sounds, and as we get closer, 2 or 3 chunks away, 2 chunks away, the minecart and hoppers are going to become much louder. So you may not want to build your house right next to this. You may want to place your house just a little bit away from your farming area. The first thing that to help us build this farm is alignment. Occasionally, we're going to come across some coordinates, like on the screen here, 192 and -320. And if you take both of those numbers and divide them by 16, you're going to get a round number without any decimal places. And that is going to be a chunk border. So from here, from that redstone torch, that is going to be 16 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 16 blocks that way, 16 blocks that way, and that's going to intersect right here in this square. So this block is the south east corner intersection, and that tells us our chunk border, and it'll be the southeast. Then from this block, from this intersection, you're going to want to pick one of these 4 chunks. This is a chunk, an example, chunk 1, 16 blocks that way. There's chunk 2, chunk 3, chunk 4 in this intersection. You're going to want to pick one of these to start your farm and your collection system. Another way to do this is using Foxy No-Tail's chunk alignment tool, chunk locator tool. And if you haven't seen this, you're going to want to check this out, because this is also another very helpful technique and tool. If for some reason if you don't have coordinates on, because there's still a cheat in on an old realm. There's a circuit similar to this. I like using 8 ticks, and 8 ticks again instead of 4 ticks or 2 ticks for Bedrock Edition 1.14. Now this tool is completely unreliable. However, when it is working, it is extremely helpful. And the way you set it up and the way you use it is you can determine a intersection of chunks. So from this block, the circuit is on and it's lighting. When I move to this block, it's off. When I come back, it should be on. It's not. It may not always be on. It may need to be reset, but it is on. And then if I come here to this chunk, then it's off again. So again, that proves that this is a chunk intersection of 4 chunks. And then pick one of these intersections, one of these squares, as I did, and I set up my magenta piece of glass here for a marking indicator of my chunk. So 16 blocks that way, and 16 blocks that way, and there's 4 magenta glass indicators. Then the collection system, we'll take a peek at that, and then we'll come back to it. The collection system, so we've got minecarts and hoppers, and we've got 16 rails that way, 16 rails that way. And we'll go over that in more detail. For now, moving right along. The way the farm works is based on light levels. Thanks, Cortezarino, for getting us started in this direction and coming up with a version 2 best farm for Bedrock Edition. Using the light mechanics, the light levels inside of my stair blocks, of my spruce stair blocks, inside the square here is all light level 6. All of the crops eventually at a random game tick are going to become ejected, and the crop will get collected in the system. The villagers have incredible collection abilities themselves, and they may collect some of the items, but don't worry about that. We're going to gain way more than we lose out of this best farm. The first thing, the most important thing that we want to do in setting up this farm is our lighting. So we can use different types of lighting. One type of lighting, the most common and easiest way to get, is if we come up 1, 2, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3 blocks, and come over 4 blocks, and then place a torch on top. Torches have a light level of 13, and they are going to maintain a light level of, I'm guessing about 8 or higher, allowing this crop to reach stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 of growth, which is 2 blocks away from the light, and 2 blocks away and also below. So again, with torches, the easiest form of lighting in the game, you come up 3 blocks, come over 1, 2, and 3 with a torch. You're going to want to use a upper slab or a solid block or glass. For Bedrock Edition, probably the best way would be to use glass, because in Bedrock Edition it seems like we could still get something to spawn on top of here, even though that is impossible. On a realm, it's very possible. Strange things happen on realms. The moving right along. Double check that again. We came up 3 blocks over 1, 2, and 3. Put a torch. All of these crops are at a light level of 8 and higher, and they will grow. Here is a crop. It's at about light level 7. This row of crops all the way around the farm I replaced with stairs. You can have a crop or you can have a stair. Both are transparent blocks and will not allow a mob to spawn, hopefully. The purpose in removing the crop and putting the stair is I just didn't want to see these crops anymore. I thought the stairs complement the farm a little better. So this crop is at stage 1 of growth and will never reach stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4. It'll also never become ejected at this light level of about approximately 7. And then I'm guessing everything inside the square is about a light level 6. I don't know the math. We're on a hypotenuse here, and eventually one day I'll put them into a graphing calculator and figure out what the light level should be at this block. But I'm going to just assume that this is all light level 6, 5, 4, and below, and all these crops become ejected. Moving right along, in addition to torches, we can use any other light source, such as lanterns, glowstone, sea lanterns. We can use jack-o'-lanterns. Jack-o'-lanterns just require a solid block below them. Then you can place down a jack-o'-lantern, and then you can remove the solid block. And rods, I think, look the best if we take a look at the farm adjacent. This is all end rods. This is a double farm with side by side, and we'll talk about that more. Moving right along, we just have slightly different rules, since all other lighting items in the game, with the exception of magma blocks and with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 others, these all have a light level of 15, including lava. You could use lava as well. I'm not sure why you would want to, but it is possible. The way we would do it is we would just simply come up 2, 3, 4, and come over 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you can place a lantern either below a slab, or either below a fence, or below some sort of a block. This is a lower half slab, so this is non-spawnable. We don't have to worry about beasties spawning in here. And we would just do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put your any other light emitting block that has a light level 15 or higher, like all of the items, like all of the other items in the game, with the exception of torches. So that covers our lighting for this, and to talk a little bit about how did we get here. So this is version 2 of the farm. If you haven't seen that yellow building and version 1 of the farm, what we did was we got rid of the walls and ceiling. And in my opinion, you know, this is looking aesthetically a lot better than the way we had it before. And also, I have something almost identical to this that I've been running on the realm that I'm on for 9 months, and it's or since when was it? For quite a while, and it's been running for many months, maybe since maybe a year, maybe 9 months, running beautifully, flawlessly, without issue. The only issue is the bedrock mechanics. Instead of one villager getting 1,500 items an hour, we added a few more villagers, composters, and beds. Between 3 and 4 and 5 villagers are going to be the magic number. That's going to get you up to that 1,500 items per hour again of potatoes, 1,300 items per hour of carrots. So we have the sun coming up. The reason why we still have low light levels here is because we do still have a ceiling above this farm. What we did is, from our indicator block, what you're going to want to do is get some solid blocks or get some scaffolding and tower up here all the way up to 253. I prefer. You can do it whatever you want. Before we do that, let's talk about levels. We are at currently 191, 40, negative 321. And at Y level 40, which is our height, we don't want to build this farm anywhere below Y level 40. At Y level 39 and below, we can get green slime buddies, and you'll be very sad when green slime buddies are bouncing over your crops and bust out all your crops and turn your transparent hoed blocks into solid blocks, allowing for more beasties to spawn in. So you want to be above level 40. With a farm this size, there's no way you're going to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 chunks without one of them being a slime chunk. If you are in a swamp biome, recommend if you never want to have a problem, recommend being above the slime spawning in a swamp biome. I'm not for sure what that is, since slime spawn around level 62 in a swamp. I'm not sure how high up they spawn, but probably not too high if you do some of your own testing. I just prefer not to build in a swamp biome, so I don't know the details on that. Let's take a look at why we're building this farm. 25 potatoes, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We're getting insane amounts of items per hour. That's why we're building this farm. The least amount of work, the most amount of efficiency for the least amount of effort. Next, let's talk about our collection system. We're using power rails again, and that's important to know. Anytime we build a farm, if we take a peek at some power rails, it seems like whenever we put down some power rails, everything's great. We don't have any issues. Until we start to put a couple of them together, and then this thing sort of happens. So we put down a rail, and it'll default north and south, and then as soon as we put two together, it's going to rotate the power rails east and west. So that being said, on all your farms, it's a good idea that you plan for your power rails to be located in an east to west direction. And the way to figure that out is just simply look at the skyline. Here we have the rising sun, so that would be east. The rising sun, the rising stars, the rising moon, that would be east. And the setting stars, the setting moon, or the setting sun, that would be west. So we want our rails to be oriented in an east and west direction for your farm. Moving right along, we've got the rails. You're going to want to start with a one rail into a solid block. Do not use a transparent block. And one rail on top of a solid block. And then least amount of resources is put a lever, turn it on, and that'll power your two rails. You're going to need two power rails at each end. That will maintain the speed that you need for your minecarts to travel, even when they get overloaded with 1,500 items per hour or stacked farms. You're going to need at least two power rails, and if you ever later want to throw in another power rail, you could, if the thing is slowing down too much, or added a third power rail if the thing's ever slowing down too much. I haven't had an issue yet. Then 2 blocks minimum away from your power, then we can put a hopper, and that hopper will not be locked because that power block is 2 blocks away. Don't place your hopper next to a power block. Make it 2 blocks away. I prefer to put my hoppers at one end instead of in the middle. It allows for them to unload, hit the wall, and unload again, and then continue on and pick up a full load, and then come back and do the same. I prefer that than centering them. You're just going to put in a hopper chain. So I've got one hopper facing down, and then a chain of hoppers facing into that first hopper, like so. I like, if we remember our Y level 40, I like to put a hopper chain down here and a dispenser or dropper down here, so that at Y level 22, I am 18 blocks below Y level 40, so that means I will not hear the clicking from a dispenser or a dropper. I don't hear the sound when I'm at my farm because I put this down here 18 blocks below. 16 blocks away from you horizontally, 18 blocks vertically is how far you put your droppers and dispensers away. This very successful Java circuit has been working well on Bedrock Edition. Into a block or redstone dust, repeater on 4 ticks, piston, and then an observer facing an observer powering the dispenser. And this, so that'll automatically start and stop when it needs to. And we just have a simple water stream on ice to propel the items a little faster, and going up to the collection system. This video is not to talk about a collection system. You can do your own collection system. We'll just simply take a look. I've got a water stream coming up. You can also put another dropper at the bottom of this system, which I'm using on a realm, and you can have an item elevator using solid blocks instead of water stream. Replace the water with solid block, put a water stream on top, it'll do the same thing. This is working great for what we need to do. And then we take a look again, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, potatoes, 13, 14. So this is an amazing farm, getting us 1,500 items per hour. It's the one. Another thing about this farm is you could start building this on your first days of Minecraft on your first days of survival. The 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 size of the farm, we can take a peek at these green and black indicator marking blocks. We have a length of 30 and a width of 26 is the total size of the crops. And then I closed off the corners a little bit because a circular farm is going to reduce pathfinding for the villagers. The more circular that we make the corners. Then, so 26 by 30 is the perfect size for the max volume capacity farm. Then your water, I just simply started with a stairs. You're going to want stairs so that a minecart and hopper can easily travel underneath a stair block. And then set that up at one corner outside of your rails. And then continue on with irrigation. That water block is going to irrigate 4 blocks away, 2, 3, 4. Between water blocks, that water block is going to irrigate 1, 2, 3, 4. So simply go 9 blocks to your next water block, 9 blocks to your next water block. All in all, we have something like, I don't know, maybe 16 water blocks here, maybe less. That talks about water, lighting. Let's take a look at, and that talks about the collection system. Next is during the day, we still have light levels of 6 down here. And the way to accomplish that is the farm still has a ceiling. We can ignore this. This is just a quick little cactus farm. We can put above our entire collection system. I got this cactus farm, but ignoring this, if we come up to level 70, 80, 85, you know, now I can start to see in this private world, I could start to see the roof of this farm way up at level 80. So, and then it disappears. On a realm, it's even better. It's going to disappear. Your render distance is even further away, and it's going to, you know, you may never see the roof. The way we do our roof is, again, we come back to our indicating block, our marker block, and scaffold up or pillar up to level 253. And you can ignore the sea lanterns. However, if you have a build, you're going to find that this is, if you're going to have builds or landscaping that are at, you know, level 70, 80, 90, 100, and you don't and you want to have the most attractive roof to the ceiling, sea lanterns seems to be the best. The sea lanterns are completely unnecessary. The stone is going to be the easiest resource to get in the game. At level 253 or 252, I placed my stone, and now I'm standing on it at level 253. That still gives me plenty of room while I'm up here. If I want to put a crafting table, and then I can put a slab on top of my crafting table, preventing any spawns. And I can also put an ender chest up here, all by doing that at 253. And you know, what difference does it make whether we do 253 or 255? If I continue to pillar up, I can place 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, and that's it. And now we're getting the message that the height limit for building is 256 blocks. So that's why I built this at a little lower, allowing, if I want to place something up here, I can have a couple of blocks to do so. So from our marker block, all we're going to do is come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. Ignore that. Here's 16 blocks away. Come out 6 blocks. Come out 6 blocks. and ignore this. Come out 6 blocks, about 6 blocks, all the way around. Put in your stone, half slab the top so that nothing spawns up here. Ignore that. And you're all set with the roof. Doing perfect lighting all day for the farm. Moving right along. We talked about building this on your first days of survival. Let's mention that again because you know, guys, we can get some wood. We can make fences and fence off an area for a farm. We can put make some stairs and put water blocks in on our first day of survival, and we can get some potatoes and carrots and plant them on our first days of survival. Eventually, we'll get iron. The 1.15 iron farm is supposed to get us 10 times the amount of iron that an iron farm is producing now. So we're going to have tons of iron to easily get in a few days, a few Minecraft days, or a few days of survival in real life, rather. We're going to have tons of iron so we can get a few power rails and a few rails and a few minecarts and hoppers and whatnot. Eventually we'll have it all in a very short time, and accelerating the what we would take in order to build this. So that's extremely helpful. Moving right along, we talked about how to build this with rails. The way I got my rates for the 1,500 items per hour is simply test this farm about 30-40 times. In real life, I've probably tested this in over 30 hours here, and then on the realm it's run for days and days and days, months and months and months, continuously pumping out the items. I've been just doing one Minecraft day and then getting my numbers and then multiplying it times 3, and I've been keeping track of numbers 100 times of testing. So sometimes you might get 250 items. Sometimes you might get 500, you might get 600 items in a 20-minute test. But all in all of the numbers combined and averaged, we're still getting up to 1,500 items an hour. The things you can do to help or increase your farm is you might want to start with 3 villagers and then do 4 and then do 5. If we have an accident with a villager, that's really easy to fix. What you can do is just simply bring a it's complicated for me with 12-15 villagers all around me and 4 or 5 huge farms, even on creative, but not that complicated. Let's get a bed. My bed's where you at? I know I passed it 3 times. Here's bed. And workstation. Alright, so we got 2 different kinds of points of interest. If in an easy, simplified version of your farm, and you're just starting and you have 2 villagers, you went to the effort and you got 2 villagers in here, all you would need to do is put down 3 beds and they'll simply breed and get a 3rd villager. And to make that villager a farmer, you just put down 3 workstations. They'll all connect to it. Now I have a lot more than that, so I'm just going to go ahead and put down quite a few of these points of interest. So this is again you're increasing your farm from 3 villagers to 4 villagers or 4 to 5. more is not always better. I mean, it was perfect when this farm back in before this version of 1.14, when one villager did 15 items an hour. But more is not better always. And that's why I did my farm initially with one villager, is because we didn't have any villager throwing mechanics. We don't have to put up a villager in a little corner stash where these guys are going to stop working and throw items at him. So all you do is, once you get your new villager, I'll use a spawn egg. Once you get your new villager in place, and now we're just waiting for him, he connect to a bed and connect to a workstation. Still waiting, probably don't have enough beds. Or enough workstations. It gets more complicated once you have a large number of people. Where's my new little buddy? Level 2. Level 2. There he is. Here's my new level 1 farmer. And all we want to do is 5 or 6 trades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he's level 2. Do 5 trades. First, I like to get rid of the workstations. Second, I like to get rid of the beds. And if you keep the workstations, some people might put workstations around and put beds around. That's going to reduce the efficiency currently on this farm. Probably reduce it by 25-30%. Anywhere around there. So it's actually more efficient currently without the points of interest. Just lock his trades. He's now a farmer. And again, 3 or 4 or 5 farmers. 3, you're going to get great numbers. And what happens when you get 4 or 5 or 6 is more of them are going to stop working and toss items to each other, and they're actually not working more of the time, less of the time. So in just 37 minutes of this video, we have quite a number of potatoes. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, over 14 stacks of potatoes in 37 minutes. If you sleep, you will get more because villagers don't work at night. And next, let's talk about this guy. This guy, for some reason, didn't keep his profession. Thank you, Bedrock. Again, to fix that, put down a whole ton of beds, allowing all 20 of my villagers in the area to connect to a bed. Not a farmer yet. Oh, there he is. Now he's a farmer. Lock his trades. Okay, level 1 farmer. I don't know how we missed this guy. There, he's level 2. Get rid of that. Get rid of the beds. I'm going to get rid of the beds first because I don't want them breeding. Because I spammed a lot of beds. Much more easy to keep track of everything when you didn't have all these numbers of villagers. Alright, so we talked about just about everything. A Minecraft day is 20 minutes, 24,000 game ticks. Guys, please post questions in the comments. 1 or 2 people, lucky people, will be helped. I won't build this entirely for you, but 1 or 2 lucky people, I may come to your realm and help you build this if you get stuck, but only 1 or 2. The if there's anything in this video that you learned or you found helpful or useful, please do like the video and subscribe. Tap the bell notification icon to be notified of future videos. And that is everything. Everything I think covered. We got our size, our location, water, chunk alignment, lighting, ceiling. Last is, let's take another peek at, see if I remember if we cover this entirely. Alright, the redstone here is this rail, again, that's a chunk border, chunk intersection rather. This rail is chunk 1, let's say. This block is chunk 2. This would be chunk 3, and this would be chunk 4. So this is an intersection of 4 chunks. So that means that this redstone is not in our chunk. Hey, how did that happen? Get a little crazy and creative. And fix you, give you a bump, he's back on again. So what you want to do is put a lever on all of your blocks so that you have some redundant power. Next is you could turn them all off and use this to stop all of your minecarts in a perfect world. That's no longer working on 1.14.2. The minecarts are colliding and they don't always all stop. Some stop like they're supposed to, but some collide and then get pushed forward again. I could show you that, but you could just take my word for it. The minecarts are colliding, and the way I'd have to flip off all the switches and whatnot. But this would be a simple, great redstone trick for you OCD people to have them all travel at the same rate and at the same speed. Once in a while, when you care to do that, you would just simply flip all the switches, turn it off, they all stop. They're not, which is not working on Bedrock Edition, and then turn it back on, and they all start, and then come back and hit all your switches again. And then here's another row of switches. So I like to do that on my builds. Next, moving right along, everything down here is a stair or a lower half slab. So this is all completely mob-proof. And you're going to want a completely mob-proof in your build to be able to get around through here. Right, we talked about that. Last is, let's talk about it's important to have 2 rows of fences so that a zombie cannot punch a villager, cannot attack a villager. If there is 1 fence, he will be able to reach the villager. 2 fences, he cannot. Next level of protection is if we put a half slab on top, that will stop spiders. It's not protection, it's more or less of a nuisance of stopping spiders from entering the farm. This simple little thing here, I learned years ago, and most of you may already know, one completely mob-proof design is just simply put a half slab on top of 2 fences, and that stops all spiders and all mobs from entering your fenced-in area, getting to your house and getting to your whatnot. So this will keep the spiders out. Another thing you could do is have glass. 1 row of glass on the fence. That'll keep spiders from entering to your farms. And last is, let's talk about the super mega ultra side-by-side farm. what we have here is the same thing. Those two farms are identical in the collection system, 16 by 16. And I put carrots here. And to try to balance the numbers between carrots and potatoes, I made the potato farm a little smaller. So here is a chunk, 16 blocks in left and right. And then here is another chunk, 16 blocks left and right. And then here is block number 3. So 1, 2, 3. Of my next chunk, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, blah, 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 blah. And so what we have here is 14 rows of rails. And then here's the 2 blocks that would make up the entire chunk. So here is 16 by 16 rails, and here is 14 by 16 rails. And yeah, just a way to balance the numbers since we get more potatoes and carrots, to get more of a closer amount of potatoes and carrots together. Then the farm, in order for to keep efficiency, we need to have 2 blocks of separation. 2 fences will not work because 2 fences have a smaller hitbox than a glass block or solid block. So it's important to have 2 full-size blocks of separation between your 2 farms so that this villager's AI does not get interrupted by anything that's happening at that farm. So at least 2 blocks of separation. Then glass is great because it's non-spawnable. If you use a solid block, you would need to put a half slab on top to stop any nasties from spawning in. And there's an example of a perfect way to get 2 farms side by side in 2 chunks, and 2,700 items, 2,800 items per hour total between the 2 of them. So like, comment, and subscribe if because it really helps the channel a lot. And if you'd like to get more videos, and let me know that you're interested in some more videos. This is PullTube's channel, PLL2BS. Thanks for watching. Make sure to tap the bell notification icon so you get notified of the next future video. Thanks, guys.